So, you're thinking of platinuming Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Well, here's everything you need to know before you commit. Look, I can't lie, I expected this to be a nice easy platinum, especially after seeing it's only 30 hours and it has a really fun story. But this game has 673 collectibles needed for the platinum. Lego Batman is an open world action adventure game. You play as Batman and his sidekicks, break things, build them up, collect stuff and solve puzzles. The story is about 10 hours, and if you like Lego games or you're an Arkham fan, you're going to have a good time here. But if open world collectathons make you want to die, well, we'll get to that. Right, so what kind of platinum is this? Well, there's two different experiences. First, there's a story, which is great, you can have fun, everything flows perfect. But then the collectibles comes, and this is where everything changes. We're looking at around 30 to 40 hours total. It's a 3 out of 10 difficulty, which sounds easy, and it is, but easy does not mean fun. There's no missables, which is a bonus. There's one playthrough, fully offline, and then cleanup. The story itself took me about 10 hours, then the cleanup is where the time goes. The collectibles alone added another 25 hours on top. There's no one trophy that takes forever, it's just the sheer amount of stuff there is to collect. The 3 out of 10 difficulty is fair, nothing here is going to test your skill. The difficulty is just pure tedious and the Riddler puzzles are the worst of it. But not because they are hard, just because there's loads of them all over the map and some of them can be quite long to do. Here's some good news though, nothing is missable. You can free roam after the story and mop up everything. No point of no return, no missable story choices. That alone makes it a lot more approachable than it could have been. There's also no online trophies either and no second controller required, which if you played older LEGO games, you'll know this is a genuine relief. Let's quickly touch on the Riddler and Clue Master challenges, because this is where most of your collectible time goes. They are puzzles, usually straightforward, but occasionally there's the one that throws you off. The rest of the collectibles are things like racers, chests, poison ivy plants, and speed and combat trials, which are basically you either flying through the air, dodging obstacles, or beating up loads of enemies in a time limit. And speaking of those, there's a trophy for completing 5 trials with a gold rating. You should be fine because there's a couple of easy ones, but if not, I've got a tip at the end that makes these super easy to do. There's also one collectible that doesn't show on the map like the others, bat symbols. You need 25 of these, but don't worry, I've got another tip for those too. So here's the thing about this platinum. The story part, I genuinely had a great time. The game is funny, the Easter eggs are brilliant, and you're naturally picking up trophies as you go without even thinking about it. But then the collectibles hit and it becomes a completely different experience. It's not hard, it's just relentless. There's so many of them spread across the map that by the end of it, you're not even enjoying the game anymore. You're just trying to get it done. And that's my honest answer. I say 40% of this platinum is genuinely enjoyable. The other 60% is you flying or driving around the map, checking off a list, so just know that before you go in. So here's my verdict on Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. It's worth it, but very, very close to proceed with caution because you really need to know what you're signing up for when it comes to the collectibles. If you love the game and you don't mind spending a few hours, well, more like 20 hours in cleanup, then you'll get there and you'll be fine. But if collectibles make your head explode, then the second half of this game is going to really test your patience. Either way, that's my verdict. And if you are planning to go for it, well, here's a few tips and tricks I wish I knew before I started. So the first one's not necessarily a tip, it's more a regret. The story missions have collectibles inside them, and I chose to do these after finishing the story. So if I was to do it again, I'd probably decide to just do them as I go, because unlike other LEGO games, you don't need extra characters to grab them, which is a nice change, so I would take advantage of it if I could. And building off that, space out your world collectibles too. I did the entire story and then went straight into collectibles mode, and I wish I mixed the two together so at the end I wasn't just collectibles for 25 hours straight. Second, for the 5 gold trials trophy, the easiest method is Jim Gordon's rebound launcher. Fully upgraded, just spam it, it bounces between multiple enemies and you'll hit gold on the combat trials without even breaking a sweat, to be honest. Third, there's 2 crime trophies, one for preventing 30 crimes and one for preventing one of every crime type. The first is obviously straightforward, but the second can be proper RNG. Don't make my mistake and leave them all until last, then sit around waiting for the right one to spawn. Do them as you see them and keep a note of which ones you've done. And finally, the bat symbols. I just use an interactive map that I found online, travel to the spot it shows, grab the symbol, repeat 25 times, and boom, there's your trophy. I'll leave the link in the description, and honestly, these map sites are worth bookmarking because they exist for loads of games and I've used them quite a lot, to be honest. And that's everything you need to know before you platinum Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. If this helped you make your decision, a like and subscribe goes a long way, and there's a lot more of these coming in the future, so I'll see you in the next one. Peace.